Hello, this is a fun quick look at colonoscopy. And yes, those two words fun and colonoscopy really can appear in the same sentence together. This is no means meant to be a in-depth medical description of the process. However, it is based on my own experience. And as always, it's always best to ask a qualified trained professional person if you have any questions. To have a closer look at colonoscopy, we need to have a model. And I'd like to introduce you to Bouncing Bob. As you can see, he's quite an excitable little fellow who doesn't say much or wear many clothes, but he does enjoy bouncing around whenever he can. Colonoscopy is an examination of the back passage and is a lot more than just creeping up behind someone and sticking a camera up their bum. The process actually starts a few days before the appointment when the diet becomes as bland as possible, and this is to make sure that the laxative taken the night before the appointment is effective. It can take quite a while to start, but it looks as if Bouncing Bob is feeling the effect already, and it's important to stay near the loo. Everybody's different, but it can take several hours of having to go. On the day you might have to wait a long time to be seen. The endoscopist is a fully trained medical professional that uses their hands to control the disco dancing endoscope. Sedation is applied through a blue plastic thing that's been put into the arm, and it felt like a small pinprick. The sedation affects everybody in different ways, but in general it makes you very relaxed and was compared to having a cocktail. Hooray! We've made it to the main event that everybody's come to see, but you might not remember it due to the sedation. I was still awake during my examination, but I was so relaxed that the endoscopist could have stuck an elephant's trunk up my bottom and I wouldn't have noticed much difference. During the procedure, you have to lie in different positions that allow the best access to the rear end. Sometimes I could see the screen, and other times all I could see was the arm of a very nice lady nurse. It is strangely fascinating watching what's happening, and colons are quite tubey, so I remember thinking that watching Doctor Who from the 1980s will never be the same again. If you had X-ray vision, then you'd be able to see the endoscope going up, around and back again along the colon. It wasn't painful, but sometimes it was a bit uncomfortable. I'd describe it as feeling like strange indigestion that had a mind of its own. Mind you, if you really did have X-ray vision, then you wouldn't actually need an endoscope procedure in the first place. Your insides are a bit squishy, like an uninflated balloon, and so they pump air into the passages to inflate them. This means, however, that after the main event, it feels like you'll be farting until the cows come home.
Would you like a cup of tea?
After it's all finished, they monitor you for a while to check that everything's okay, give a brief explanation of what was found, and then send you on your way with a bit of a sore bottom. And because of the sedation, you must be accompanied by a responsible adult for the next 24 hours. Behold a machine from the future! It's a big donut stuck to a bed and is a computerized tomography scanner. What this means in plain English is that it's actually an X-ray photocopier that takes lots of images that get reconstructed into a 3D model inside a computer. It makes a fantastic science fiction whirring type noise and also looks as if it could be a gateway into an alternate universe. Despite the advanced technology, it still relies on taking a small amount of laxative that's easier on the stomach. It still produces a lot of oxtail soup though. It also requires a tube up the bum for inflating the passages. The bum hole is plugged by a balloon and makes it feel like you need to do a massive poo. You have to lie in various positions during the procedure, including one that resembles Superman, and another on your stomach, but because of the air up my bum, I found it quite uncomfortable, as if I was a seesaw. Because the nurses and radiologists don't want to glow in the dark from the X-rays, they disappear into a different room and talk to you via a speaker system. It also means that you don't get to watch anything on the screen. I have, however, found an example on the internet as to what it looks like. They will have injected a bumhole relaxant, but you don't need sedation and they will still give you a cup of tea at the end. It takes a few weeks for the results to come through, and because the scanner covers a large area, you get an overview of more than just the colon. In my case, the only thing that stood out were gallstones, which aren't the end of the world and are actually a very common condition that a lot of people live with without any problem. The only time that anything needs to be done is if they start causing pain. Unlike Bouncing Bob, you do actually wear a loose-fitting hospital gown that allows access to the rear end. But due to the very nature of the tests, or, and I mean or, your private parts might be on display. There was one occasion where every time I looked away and looked back again, there's yet another pretty young lady having a jolly good look at my bum and manly bits. Of course I didn't mind in the slightest, but I did wonder if I could set myself up as a circus sideshow. I also nearly took out both my eyes on a young lady's rather beautiful prominent chest. Thankfully, nobody said, "Ugh, what's that?" about my private parts, and I've discovered that I'm not actually worried about people looking at my bits and pieces. Therefore, here's a picture of my huge... Bouncing Bob and me hope you've enjoyed this fun and slightly cheeky look at colonoscopy. If you've got one coming up, then I hope that everything goes okay for you. It's important to drink lots of liquids to rehydrate and also rest as much as possible after these tests. So Bouncing Bob is about to lay down in a nice quiet room till the next video where we look at gastroscopy.